So I've got my renders from Cinema 4D finished. I'm just going to import my file sequence and do some compositing. So let's right click and import our file. And I've got a file sequence of PNGs. I just need to select the first file, make sure sequence is turned on, and hit open. Now I work at 25 frames a second. After Effects is defaulted to 30 frames a second. So I need to right click my footage, interpret that footage, and in the main settings, just make sure it's at 25 frames a second. I'm going to drag and drop the sequence onto my new composition button. And now I've got a composition, and there's my transparent MoGraph text, well, transparent background. And I can see as well, there's my shadows from my shadow catcher material. So that's looking really good. So now I've got the flexibility in After Effects to set up any kind of background I want for this. So let's make a new solid. So I'll go Layer, New Solid, and I'll just make some kind of a yellowy solid or orangey yellow solid. And that's appeared on top of my graphics layer, so I just need to drag it underneath. Now that's pretty hideous looking. That's a really bad choice of color. But the good thing is I can change that color any time. I can go to my solid settings and I can adjust the color here and do something that's a bit more appropriate. Or if I wanted to, I could create a little bit of variation, a little bit of visual interest in the background. I could generate a gradient. So if I select my solid and go Effects, Generate Gradient Ramp, and now I've got a gradient in here. I've got a start and an end point for my gradients. I can shift those up and down a little bit or around if I want to. There's even a couple little points that we can see that we can interactively reposition our gradient. And maybe I'll make this sort of a slightly skyish kind of tone, sort of a light blue or something like that. And maybe I'll put a little bit of color into here. Just a really subtle bit of color. I mean, you can put on whatever you want. I'm just randomly picking some colors here. And now we've got a gradient in the background. And of course, because we've got our shadow catcher material that's worked and created the shadows in the transparency channel, we've still got our shadows working just fine. So that's all finished. That's ready to render now. I can save this and put this project file in the media encoder and create a movie file out of that.